people, it's me, Anja. My pronouns are she and her, and welcome back to my channel for a new recent reads video. The first book on this list is called Give Me a Sign. This story is a YA contemporary following a young, deaf main character who becomes a camp counselor at a summer camp designed for disabled children. This story was good and it was solid, but unfortunately, I didn't love this book as much as I was really expecting to. This book was on my July TBR, and I was so excited for it, especially for the disability representation, and that was definitely the strongest part, because I loved the conversations surrounding disability, deafness, and all that kind of stuff, because, the representation was so solid, and it was so good. It was literally portrayed so well, and I felt the main character's emotions from her pride to her happiness to her frustrations and everything so well. The plot was definitely very engaging and very intriguing. This book is set over a very short amount of time, although some spots felt rushed, especially the beginning and the end, but the whole camp setting was nice. However, I will add, the romance I wasn't a big fan of, because I didn't really see their chemistry or their connection, really. I kind of understand why other people might fall in love with it, but for me personally, I didn't, and that's completely on me. I know that I read this book mostly for the disability representation. So yeah, with that said, I rated this book 3 out of 5 stars, so take that as you will. The next book on this list is called My Week with Him. I just talked about this book in my last video for my most disappointing book of the year question, so I apologize if my review is redundant. Honestly, I wasn't really planning on filming this video until a few minutes ago, so when I was filming my last video, I was thinking that I wasn't going to include this book in my next recent reads video, but here I am. Anyway, if you didn't know, this book is a YA black contemporary following a young main character who spends the rest of spring break with her best friend after her mom kicks her out of the house. I was really excited for this book, and it was on my July TBR, and I had really high expectations for it, because the 2 previous books that I've read by this author, I've rated 4 stars, if not 4.5 stars. But this book, I rated 3 stars, and for the 3-star rating, mainly it's because, for me personally, the romance was giving main character energy, and it didn't need to. It needed to give side character energy like it had in the previous 2 books. I was way more interested in the main character's family dynamics than her dynamic with her best friend. You know what I mean? And I knew this book had the trope best friends to lovers in it before I entered it, which I also knew is one of my least favorite romantic tropes. But I just didn't see the chemistry or the connection between them really. But that's on me, because I was way more interested, like I mentioned, with her family dynamics than with anything else. Although I will say the plot was intriguing and it was engaging, but overall, big disappointment for me. 3 stars, take that as you will. The next book on this list is called I'm Not Here to Make Friends. This story is a YA contemporary that follows 2 Asian teenagers who meet on a reality TV show, and basically it follows them over this unforgettable summer, although this book for me is definitely pretty forgettable, because personally, I rated it 3 stars. I felt like the side characters deserved way more character development, and so did the main characters, although I will say the plot was intriguing, and the reality TV show elements kept me intrigued from the beginning to the end, although I do wish that their friendship had perhaps turned into a romance. I think that would have fixed it. Actually, maybe it wouldn't have fixed it all the way, because as we've discussed previously, just because a book is diverse doesn't mean that it's necessarily groundbreaking or amazing or even good. You know what I mean? But anyway, the point is, I didn't love this book completely. In fact, I didn't love it at all. I didn't even like it at all. I should have DNF'd this book from the moment I realized that I just found it to be kind of boring, aside from the reality TV show aspects, if that makes any sense. All the characters deserved way more attention and development. So yeah, with that said, I don't know if that makes any sense at all. I did appreciate, though, that the entire cast was Asian, because that's pretty unusual in most YA books. But anyway, the point is, I rated this book 3 out of 5 stars, and I don't recommend it. The next book on this list is called Buzzing, which is a YA graphic novel following a young main character with OCD as he navigates an overbearing mother, his sister, his OCD, and his new role-playing friends. This story is absolutely so fantastic, and it's so good. I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars because, first of all, the illustrations were so pretty, and I especially loved the depictions of his OCD illustrated by the bees, if that makes any sense. Like, it was so good. The plot was so engaging and so intriguing. Like, the family dynamics were so well done, and I felt the main character's emotions, especially in how he, like, navigated his relationship with his mom as well as with his sister. Like, that was so well done. His friendships were so lovely and so wonderful. Like, this book is so good, and it's so underrated, and I really, really enjoyed it. So anyway, with all that said, I would highly, highly recommend this book because I rated it 4 out of 5 stars, and I really, really enjoyed it. The last book on this list, and certainly not the least, is called The International House of Dereliction. Did I say that correctly? I'm not completely sure. This story is a middle-grade urban fantasy following a young main character who is investigating this abandoned house next door that's haunted. I really, really enjoyed this book so much. I was so captivated by the writing from the beginning to the end. I love reading about main characters who are, like, fed by curiosity and knowledge and all that, you know what I mean? Because the ways in which the main character thinks is very similar to the ways in which I think, so we love to see it. Speaking of, the characters were so well developed and so distinct, and I love them so much. I love this concept of, like, the house being its own character, you know what I mean? I just love that trope so much. The plot was so engaging and so intriguing. Like, the family dynamics were so sweet and so wholesome. The friendships were wonderful. Like, the setting was so atmospheric and just so good. This book is so good and it's so underrated. So with that said, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars. And with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. So, in conclusion, July has been an okay reading month, honestly. Although, historically, July is always an okay reading month. Like, it could be better, but it also could be worse. And I don't know why. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the crescent moon emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!